Hello again, and welcome to part 3 of the series, Is Sassy Surviving to Thriving for You? In this portion, we will look at the final 2 steps of the Sassy Surviving to Thriving process and hear testimonials as proof of how the process has worked in moving individuals, including myself, from surviving to thriving in various areas of their lives. Once you begin taking action and relying on appropriate sources of support, the next step is to watch for and be aware of synchronicities and signs. Based on the well-known scientific law that with every action there is a reaction, as you begin to take action, I'd encourage you to look for signs and synchronicities that will help you evaluate if your actions are being effective in moving you closer to or further away from your desire or an intention in your targeted area of survival. Let's go back to the daily cafe run example we've been using in this prior 2 parts of this webinar. A very simple sign could be that after 1 month of foregoing the daily cafe run and instead making weekly visits to the supermarket, there is a recognizable increase in your bank account's balance. Or, alternately, after 2 weeks of successfully completing the actions you committed to taking, you are finding yourself falling back into your old habitual ways of not making time for the supermarket and just stopping in to the cafe on the way to work. Either way, these simple signs will help you to reassess and redirect if necessary. If something isn't working, don't be harsh or judgmental on yourself. Instead, find an avenue that will work for you or re-examine your intended outcome or desire. Synchronicities are a bit more in-depth, and they're signs that often aren't immediately recognizable as having any correlation to what you're intending to do. They can at first glance be thought of as coincidences. Synchronicities usually are recognized by those who've had experience with becoming more aware of how differing events can have a very common significance beyond that recognizable with a superficial glance. Much more on that is offered in the Sassy Surviving to Thriving seminars. The final step of the cycle is to pay attention to your yearnings. These yearnings are going to, at the very least, give you insight into what's really important to you and may even propel you in the direction necessary to make these yearnings your reality. Going back once again to our daily cafe run example, as you begin to notice additional money left in your bank account at the end of the month, you may yearn to have more money to play with each month or to take a family vacation with at the end of the year. That yearning may just prompt you to sacrifice your cable television in order to eliminate that monthly expense. Or you may decide that carpooling could be an acceptable avenue for you to save more money, which could start you into another sassy cycle, beginning with that desire or intention and working your way through the 7 steps of the Sassy Surviving to Thriving process. The Sassy process is an ongoing process where one step will lead to another. Just by reaching an intended outcome or fulfilling a desire, doors will open leading to the awareness that there are so many other options for your life beyond those you've ever attempted to explore. If at this point you're still waiting to hear something that will motivate you into taking the chance that it will be an effective tool for you, I'd like to share with you why I hold such strong beliefs in what the Sassy Surviving to Thriving process can do for individuals who truly want to move beyond surviving and into thriving. It's the process that I unconsciously created when struggling to move beyond surviving into thriving when dealing with the untimely death of my 35-year-old brother, when an unknown life-altering medical condition threatened the life of my precious infant son, the resurfacing of repressed memories of terrifying episodes of childhood sexual abuse had me questioning the worth of life itself. More about that is in my personal memoir, You're Only as Sick as Your Secrets, Sexual Abuse Awareness, Prevention, and Intervention. Making unpopular decisions to leave a profession that had been unfulfilling, which held not only many successes for me, but also a steady income along with health insurance for my family, in order to follow a yearning toward what I believed was my path of purpose. When my son and I were forced to leave our home and my safe haven of 21 years for an indefinite period of time, when it was destroyed and it was necessary for me to become the sole decision maker in the process of rebuilding. There are many, many more examples I could give that show how the SASSY Surviving to Thriving process has personally been effective. However, I'd like to share several stories of its effectiveness from the words of others. Donna uses her intuition and experience to help you hone in on your truest self, the one that is free and full of joy. This is not a self-help book or therapy session in which someone simply looks in on the outside to tell you what you need to fix. It is a dance in which she lets you make the first and last move and waltzes beside you. Donna had a way of seeing the essence of who I really was when my vision was so clouded over that I was deluding myself. But the real and the not real me needed the permission and space to be accepted. Donna provided that space, that acceptance. She doesn't tell you who you are, for only you really know. She leads you along the path of self-discovery. It is a journey and an adventure. I can think of no one better than Donna who can take your hand along the way as she gives encouragement and provides practical tools, for she has journeyed down this road herself. Go from just life to life abundantly. The SASSY program has helped my 20-year-old daughter on her life's journey. Donna led her through each step, carefully with gentle guiding and compassion. The program gives my daughter the tools she will need to create a life of healthy living, loving, and growing. As part 3 comes to a close, I'd like to revisit the question we began each part with. Is SASSY surviving to thriving for you? If you believe it is for you, or for someone you feel could benefit from its 7 steps, then please join me for part 4, entitled Yes, It's For Me, and learn about various avenues for familiarizing yourself with the process and how best to incorporate it into your life in order to move from surviving to thriving. Thank you for joining me once again.